Runners, as a reminder, the content in this episode represents the opinions of Devin Haskin and his guests. It is for informational purposes only, not medical advice, so please consult your healthcare professional for any medical questions or advice. What ways does sweating, I guess working out in general, affects a person's skin?
Sure. So, first, the positive. So, regular exercising increases blood flow and circulation to the skin. It promotes better circulation, delivers oxygen and nutrients to the skin cells, which overall contributes to a healthy complexion, a healthy skin barrier, making you less susceptible to different skin conditions or sensitivities or allergens. And then, sweating during workouts kind of helps to flush out different toxins and can also unclog pores. So, there are a lot of benefits. And of course, the skin is the largest organ of the body. We're all of our organs are connected. We're all a holistic being. So if you are positively affecting, your cardiovascular system and other aspects that working out and running bring, um, you're positively impacting your skin as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Devin Haskins, and you're listening to the RVA Running Man podcast, a show that discusses all topics related to recreational running and fitness. Let's face it, running through rain, sun, sleet, hot and cold weather for hours, sometimes daily, can beat up your skin. In today's episode, I discuss skincare tips with Dr. McKenna Abercrombie of Advanced Dermatology and Cosmetic Surgery out of Tampa, Florida. McKenna shares insight on pre and post workout preventive care tips, best practices for runners with sensitive skin, and recommendations on skin friendly clothing material for runners. I'd like to welcome to today's show Dr. McKenna Abercrombie of Advanced Dermatology and Cosmetic Surgery in the Tampa, Florida area to the show. Dr. McKenna is a board certified dermatologist specializing in general cosmetic and surgical dermatology. McKenna, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Devin. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to doing this show for a while, and I'm glad that I have you on, an expert that can kind of take us through the question that I have about skin, healthcare as a runner. So first, tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you interested in doing dermatology?
I grew up in Colorado Springs, which is a big outdoor running community. So I definitely grew up doing all of the outdoor things, the hiking, the camping, the
Mm,
fishing. In winter, we do snowboarding and skiing. So taking care of your skin in that kind of climate and with all those activities is, kind of right on point with my lifestyle and how I grew up. So I'm excited to talk to you today about all of that. But grew up in Colorado. I went to undergrad in Kansas City with a focus in human biology. I knew I wanted to be a doctor early on in life. So I
mm,
found a program that was accelerated and kind of got me there a little bit faster. I
okay.
went to medical school in Denver at a private medical school called Rocky Vista University College of Medicine. And then from there, I decided that I wanted to do dermatology mainly because of an experience my younger brother had. So, my brother developed kind of a rare skin disease
Okay.
and it really affected his life. He was a star football player. He had to stop playing football. He had
Wow.
a skin condition that was very painful, and so it really kind of stopped his whole life, and his goals changed. And I really saw how the skin can affect not only people physically but mentally. So that kind of sparked my interest into investigating dermatology in medical school, and I fell in love with it. I love seeing patients of all ages.
Mhm.
You see a mix of medical problems, surgical problems like skin cancer removals and cysts, like Dr. Pimple Popper stuff. And
Mm,
then I like the cosmetic aspect of it as well. So decided on dermatology and did my training specifically for that in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And then once finishing there, I moved down to Florida, which is where my husband is from. So
okay.
I've been kind of all over the world, but we're here
Wow.
in Florida.
So you went from when you were in school, you were in a colder climate now to a more tropical climate in Florida. I
Yeah.
can, I guess, imagine that, difference in being in Colorado versus being in Florida is like miles away when it comes to, it being cold and it affecting your skin. Because I think that's one of the things that we're going to touch on today, far as inclement weather and how that affects your skin and working out in that type of weather. So good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, the idea for this episode came from, me personally, and I do know runners that they do deal with or have sensitive skin. And I really was thinking about how can we get some tips on some of the things that we can do to help um, prevent any type of, I guess, long term things that we may be causing inadvertently from the ignorance of not understanding that with working out, it affects your skin with the sweating and everything else that comes with it. So again, this is kind of how how running impacts your running or working out rather impacts your skin positive or negative. So I guess the first question I have for you is clothing wise. I do know as a runner, we tend to try to stay away from cotton. That kind of holds in moisture. Is there a particular material that, as a dermatologist, something that you would suggest for a person that may have sensitive skin or a runner in general to work out in?
Absolutely. So, avoidance of things made of cotton or hemp, like you said, most runners probably already do that.
Mm,
The fabrics that you want to use are going to be more nylon or polyester based because they are more breathable. They're naturally moisture wicking. So, you won't have that retention of sweat and rubbing with irritation resulting, like you would if you wore a cotton shirt or a hemp made shirt. So I think anything that's going to kind of help keep that moisture moving and off of your skin more breathable is important. And a lot of the brands now have the dry fit,
mm,
different kind of spin-offs on their workout clothes that incorporate those materials. So I think it affects a lot of people because that's kind of the target that a lot of active wear brands have gone towards. I like those materials. I also like those materials because they block out more of the sun's harmful UV rays than a
mm,
cotton or hemp shirt would. So if you pay attention to like UPF clothing or the UV protection factor based clothing, those are also made of either nylon or polyester. So that could be a nice kind of marriage of skin protection and avoidance of irritation for people who work out a lot or do a lot of outdoor sports or running. Those are the materials that I typically steer people towards.
What ways does sweating, I guess working out in general, affects a person's skin? Positive, in positive way or negative way? What ways does that affect a person's skin?
Sure. So, first, the positive. So, regular exercising increases blood flow and circulation to the skin. It promotes better circulation, delivers oxygen and nutrients to the skin cells, which overall contributes to a healthy complexion, a healthy skin barrier, making you less susceptible to different skin conditions or sensitivities or allergens. And then sweating during workouts kind of helps to flush out different toxins and can also unclog pores. So
Mhm,
there are a lot of benefits. And of course, the skin is the largest organ of the body. We're all of our organs are connected. We're all a holistic being. So
mm,
if you are positively affecting your cardiovascular system and other aspects that working out and running bring, um, you're positively impacting your skin as well. So the overall health is important, and it reflects in the skin. We see the skin, so you can see those positive changes reflecting outwardly. Um, I will also say that excessive sweating can cause some problems. A lot of
mm,
people have acne related, or excuse me, exercise related acne, especially on like the chest and the back area. So if you're sweating a lot and you're kind of sitting in that sweat for a while, maybe you don't shower for a couple hours after you run or the gym, that sweat is rubbing with your clothes and causing
mm,
irritation in your skin follicles and your hair follicles, which the inflammation can therefore cause an acne bump to form.
mm.
So I would recommend if you are doing those activities to try to shower within 30 minutes to an hour afterwards. So you're avoiding that irritation.
Okay. And a question on that. Uh, I find myself because of course, you got your regular shower when you get up in the morning time or whatever, and after your workout. So on a busy day, I could actually find myself showering 3 times. Is that something that's frowned upon? Like too much showering could affect your skin in a negative way.
Yes. So a lot of patients that I see who have sensitive skin
Mhm,
have a condition called eczema, which is essentially just an inflammatory condition caused from having overly sensitive skin.
mhm,
I advise that really limiting your showers as much as you can will help promote a healthy skin barrier, because the more you're under the water, the more you're using soaps, and even heat like hot water, the more you're stripping your skin of the natural oils and barriers that it has to protect itself. And so, in doing that, you're creating compromise and you're allowing for more irritation or more outside factors to affect the skin and cause sensitivities. So,
okay,
I would say limiting your showers as much as you can. But when you do shower, I mean, sometimes you work out, you're sweaty, you need to shower.
yeah,
When you do shower, use soaps that are for sensitive skin. So Dove sensitive skin is a really good one. Any products marketed towards eczema, like Cetaphil, CeraVe, Eucerin, Aveeno, all of those brands are going to be gentle and not strip your skin as much. So I would recommend using those in the shower, and then of course moisturizing afterwards to keep that skin nice and healthy.
what other things can a person with sensitive skin do to, I guess, combat the rigors of constant workout or working out for hours if person marathon training or what have you.
Yeah, so obviously you're going to be kind of in your sweat, in your sweaty clothes for longer periods of time if you're doing intense training that way, or if, whatever your lifestyle may be.
Hmm.
Um, so detergents actually can be very helpful for people who are living that kind of lifestyle. So getting a detergent that is fragrance free, or free of certain sulfates, parabens, things like that can be very helpful and cause less irritation and dryness to your skin. Brands like Tide and All have specifically free and clear products, and I always recommend those to my patients who have sensitive skin. Also, avoidance of dryer sheets and things of that nature, because any kind of fragrance or any kind of extra additive can cause additional irritation, especially when you're wearing the same clothes for long periods of time.
Okay. Um, and I guess kind of shifting gears into weather and working out outdoors. And I know depending on what part of the country or where you live, you could be dealing with extreme heat or extreme cold. Does both weather, cold, hot, affect the skin? I guess uh, is one more negative than the other?
So yeah, there with different types of weather, with different elevations, even you see different changes in the skin.
Hmm.
So in drier climates, you're going to be more susceptible to chapping, kind of eczema breakouts or irritation, dryness, over dryness of your skin. So you need to be aware of that and keep yourself very hydrated. The more water you're taking in, the better your skin will do, and of course everything else as well. And then be prepared by creating a little extra barrier for your skin. So make sure you're moisturizing more frequently. If you are more prone to getting really chapped lips or really dry skin in the areas that are exposed when you are out in a hotter, drier climate, I recommend even just plain Vaseline or Aquaphor for your lips, or even for your face, rubbing it in, because it's going to protect that skin barrier and help keep in the moisture, more so than if you were unprotected. They also make really good sunscreens that have that built-in moisturizing factor for active people in drier climates. So there are products out there specifically marketed to that. So I would
Okay.
say that's probably the most common things I'd see in a drier climate. Now, in a more humid climate, it's going to be a lot of the skin irritation from excess moisture, like we were talking about earlier. So the acne forming from having like excessive moisture and rubbing on the chest or the back. Um, People often can get rashes in the skin folds or in the groin area just from the wet skin rubbing. So you can get a lot of chafing that way.
Mm,
So that would be more what you'd see in a more humid climate. And then, of course, lastly, being from Colorado, I'll touch on the elevation factor.
Hmm.
So the sun is more intense when you are at a higher elevation. In fact, when you are in Colorado at a high altitude, you are exposed to about 25% more of UV radiation compared to being at sea
Wow.
level.
Wow.
So that not only can increase risk for sunburns, but sunburn is essentially, DNA damage to the skin. So you're putting
Yeah.
yourself at increased for skin cancers at that point. So just being aware of your environment, your climate, your altitude, and then doing the proper things to protect yourself when you're going to be
Right.
outdoors and active is important.
Okay. And you touched on sunblock. Um, is there a product? I'm a person that I don't have hair. I am hairless under this hat. Is there a product for a person like me, or would you recommend a person like me that may want to run without a hat? Is there sunblock out there that could protect against that? Or and I know nothing is 100%, but would you advise running with a hat or running without a hat for a person that just has the skin up there and want to feel that air on their on their head?
Yes. Yeah. So my husband also he's bald. So I talk to him about
Right.
this all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're not wearing a hat, if you don't want to wear a hat,
Hmm.
make sure you are applying a good SPF up there. So I always recommend to my patients SPF 30 or higher. That's what you need. Anything less than that's just not going to provide the protection that is necessary to prevent skin cancers and UV damage. If you are sweating, you're outdoors for long periods of time, that needs to be reapplied every 2 hours. Over time, it loses its effect. And also, if you're sweating it off, it's not doing anything at all. So
All
make
right.
sure you're applying every 2 hours. Um, there are a lot of products that are both water resistant and sweat resistant. So you can look for those products. Now, sunscreen is such a fad and I love it. Everyone loves sunscreen, wears sunscreen. So the products have exploded.
Yeah.
There are numerous ones like Neutrogena, Coppertone, Elta MD is another one that have really created lines specifically for athletes or active people
Mhm.
that don't sweat off as easily and don't cause irritation like if you were to get a little in your eye from sweating. So those are products that I would recommend looking for, especially if you're going to be out and about, but especially the tops of the heads. Guys don't realize tops of the heads and the tops of the ears are big places for skin cancer for men, and that's
Wow.
not a fun surgery. You get big defects and you got to close. You'll have big divots in your scalp. It's not pretty.
Oh, see,
So
I get the
definitely think,
location for the top of the head. So what you're saying is like the top area of your ear is a hot spot for skin cancer.
yeah, just because men wear hats like ball caps and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
tops of the ears are never covered. So they're seeing a ton of sun. And most people don't think about putting sunscreen there.
yeah. No,
It's kind of nice. So
no. That's I mean that's really good to know because honestly, today is the first day that I've ever really even thought about that. Now, when I do put sunblock on, I usually do the spray, the mist. And
mhm.
one place that I usually don't hit is my ears. So again, that's some really good information that I think can benefit a lot of people. So
Especially your podcast demographic, because you guys are outside a lot.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
could be really helpful in the long term.
A person that may be out there, like I was saying, if a person's marathon training, you can find yourself out there 3.5 hours. Um, is should that person, whether it's hot or the sun's up, sun is up, or it's cloudy day, should they be taking sunblock with them? To reapply after I guess sweating most of the time, being out there so
Yes.
long. Okay,
100% yes. Yeah, and they
okay.
make nice travel size ones too, so you can throw them in your bag. Or I have a little one in my car, and I have a little one in all of my bags. Of course, I think about it all the time, but
Mm,
it's easy, to take with you. Put it in your bag with your training protein bars, snacks, whatever you bring with you, your water, your electrolytes,
yeah.
just something else to throw.
Yeah, and I think again, you it's one of those out of sight, out of mind type deals. And I think I'm guilty of it where I feel like once I put it on once, I'm good. But honestly, I'm a person that sweat a lot. And I'm not sure whether it's from the bald head because I don't have the hair to stop the sweat from just pouring down. But that's a really good tip. You didn't mention chafing. They have
Yes.
products out there, and chafing is, I guess, part of the collateral damage sometimes of running, where you have people that chafe, in their leg area, the arms, and for a lot of, I know a lot of friends, it's like the nipple area is a really big. You have nipple bleeders out there, which I have a few friends that are uh, um, sensitive there. They have products out there like Body Glide. Is using something like that, a product like that long term, could that cause, I guess, any type of damage to a person's skin, from I guess, the constant use of that?
Sure. So, not necessarily, but I will say for some people, certain products might have something in them that causes a contact reaction or an allergy long term. So, some common allergens and anti chafing products could include fragrances, preservatives, specific oils or waxes. And so, individuals with sensitive skin should be cautious of products that are containing ingredients like lanolin, certain essential oils, or synthetic fragrances, because these can potentially cause allergic reactions, and people who have sensitive skin are more susceptible. So check the ingredient list of your product, and if you are having some kind of a reaction, you should maybe see a dermatologist, because there are patch tests available where we can kind of target and see specifically what you're reacting to, and so you know what you can avoid in the future. But some popular anti-chafing products like Body Glide, they do contain a combination of these. It's how they work. They prevent the skin from rubbing on itself or rubbing on clothes. So those ingredients are fine as long as you're not reacting to them. If they're working for you, that's great. So just choose one that suits your preferences, whether it's in the form of a balm, a stick, a cream, and then just consider your skin's sensitivity and in those areas that are specifically prone to chafing.
I know at least where I am, to get in to see a dermatologist sometimes can be a while, depending on, I guess, where you're at.
Mhm.
Is there, I guess, a central hub or an area online or a place online that you would suggest a person go if they want to schedule an appointment with a dermatologist such as yourself?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So when you're looking for a dermatologist, I always tell people first and foremost, make sure they are a board certified dermatologist. There's a lot of doctors out there who practice dermatology, but
Mm.
to be a board certified dermatologist, you have to go through 4 years of dermatology specific training and pass a very hard board exam, proving that you are, very knowledgeable in this area. And
Mm.
so they hold those doctors to really high standards to practice dermatology. And if you go to the American Academy of Dermatology website, there is a link on there where you can search for your area and look for a board certified dermatologist, and that can hopefully point you in the right direction.
So next question I have for you of, I guess, most of the things that we discussed, what do you think is the most important workout routine a person should do to make sure that they're promoting healthy skin or keeping their skin healthy, or just making sure they're managing, not damaging their skin?
I would say, especially for women who maybe, at work all day or working out the end of the day, whatever, I think making sure your face is clean is really important. So if you have any makeup or any residue, make sure you're cleansing your face with a gentle cleanser prior to doing any exercise, because that can really clog and irritate your pores and cause acne and other skin issues. So cleansing is important, and then moisturizing as well, especially if you're in a drier climate, because if your skin is dry or not moisturized, you're opening up the barrier to a lot more issues. You're not as protected. So moisturizing is good. And fortunately, to my next product I'd applied, a lot of the moisturizers out there have SPF in it. So making sure you're putting on something with some sun protection is important. I feel like now that sunscreen is more of a popular thing to do versus 20, 30 years ago, a lot of the companies have created products that are really light, hydrating, and almost go on just like a lotion. So I would recommend finding one that you like and you like the way it looks and feels on your skin, and applying that before working out as well.
Okay. And I'm going to briefly kind of backtrack here. I know you had talked about your brother and suffering from what he did to affect his athletic career. Have you seen any, or is there any, I guess, skin diseases that if one of your patients came into you that you'll suggest that they should not work out or trail back or cut it back to make sure that they're taking proper care of their skin?
Yeah, so absolutely. There are several skin conditions that are very inflammatory and can be very painful and uncomfortable, and a lot of them, like even psoriasis, or the one like my brother suffered from is called hidradenitis suppurativa, and you get these big cysts and abscesses in
Wow.
areas like the groin, or your legs rub together, and your armpits. And so when you have active inflammation in areas that are rubbing, or that you're using when you're working out or running, and it's just continuing to cause irritation, I always tell my patients, you have to back off until we can get the flare up to calm down. Because if you're continuing to do movements and activities that are irritating your skin, it's never going to have the opportunity to heal, and you're never going to get better. It's just going to get worse. So there are some conditions, specifically more inflammatory ones, where I will tell people to kind of back off.
Okay.
But if you're suffering from something like acne that's sweat related, or workout related, you find it's worse since you've been going to the gym or running further, whatever it may be, I don't tell those people to stop working out. I just tell those people to adjust their habits. So
Mhm.
showering quickly, within 30 minutes to an hour after working out. Also using products that contain ingredients like benzoyl peroxide or salicylic acid in the shower, which can really help with body acne. Those are good options also. And then of course, if something is not working with these over-the-counter products, you should see a dermatologist, because we have lots of good prescription medications to help.
Well, Dr. McKenna, thank you for joining me on the show today, and good luck with all you're doing in your practice. And again, thanks for your time.
Thank you. It was wonderful to meet you. Wonderful to talk to you today. Thanks for having me on the show.
Special thank you again to Dr. Abercrombie for today's discussion. You can follow McKenna on TikTok or Instagram at her handle, which is at Dr. McDermie. That's spelled DoctorMcDermie. If you're looking for a dermatologist in your area, you can visit aad.org to find a doctor. If you don't want to miss out on any episodes in the future of the RVA Running Man podcast, please go to YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcast. Search for RVA Running Man podcast and subscribe. I appreciate the support of each and every last one of you. Until next week, friends, please be safe on the roads and trails. I'll talk to you later, runners. Peace.